Hey, and welcome to an exciting video where I'm going to dive into the captivating world of sacred frequencies and the potential to transform our lives. But before we begin, let me remind you I'm not legally responsible for anything that happens, positive or negative, during this video. But with that said, make sure you watch all the way to the end for some life-transforming audio experiences. Well, it's true that throughout history, many great thinkers and leaders have recognized the profound power of audio and its significance in the human experience. I've always been a fan of myself, but Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, eloquently said, "Music's always been at the heart of Apple. It's deep in our DNA." William Shakespeare echoed the sentiment as well in his words, "If music be the food of love, play on." And of course, Plato, that ancient philosopher, took it even further by declaring, "Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and everything." Deep thinking there. In this video, we're going to explore the concept of sacred audio frequencies. I've always been curious about this myself, and I'm really excited to explore it with you. These specific tones are believed to possess some healing and spiritual benefits rooted in ancient scale used in sacred music, such as Gregorian chants. The idea behind these frequencies is that sound at certain vibrations can have a profound effect on our minds, our bodies, and even our spirits. Plus, the environment around us. Now, if you're curious already, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to stay updated, because I'll have more fascinating videos just like this one coming up. So first of all, let me break it down for you, because there are 3 different types of audio vibrations I really think we need to know before we get started. I'm going to give you practical examples, how to make them in Adobe Audition. That's my audio editor of choice, but you can really use any editor you've got or any synth that can generate frequencies to make these yourself at home. So the first thing that we're going to look at are solfeggio frequencies. Now, Adobe Audition allows you to generate pure tones, which can be used to create these sacred solfeggio frequencies, or indeed any other desired frequency. So let's go through step by step in Adobe Audition. First of all, I've got a brand new audio file loaded here in Audition, and I'm just going to go up to the effects menu, and I'm going to look for generate here, and I'm going to look for tones. It really is as simple as that to get started with a solfeggio frequency. When I open the window here, it's going to give me a default tone, 440 Hertz. Okay, that's actually a middle C on a keyboard. And if I play it to you now, you'll hear that is a middle C tone. Nothing too sacred or strange about that. However, if I take it down a few hertz, this is in this box here, the bass frequency that I'm editing, and say 432, that is now apparently a sacred solfeggio frequency. And I can play this back, and it's ever so slightly different. You probably can't even perceive it if you just listen to that. But that is what a lot of musicians do when creating music. They'll tune their middle C to be just off at 432 Hertz to create something that's sacred and interesting. I can choose another solfeggio tone, such as 528. Now, each different solfeggio frequency has a different supposed healing property. So 528 is for DNA repair. Let's listen to it. Okay, that is a sacred frequency, and of course, that is playing currently for a duration of 1 second, as I've assigned here in the box. But if I wanted 10 seconds of that solfeggio frequency for DNA repair, I can type in 10 seconds. And now I've got a 10-second tone, which I'm obviously going to stop and interrupt there, but I could actually click OK here, and that would generate me 10 seconds of 528 Hertz, which is, of course, available for DNA repair. So clicking OK creates those tones, and you can put them into any kind of composition you're working on and create something pretty incredible. So solfeggio tones we'll return to later in the video as I give you 6 practical examples, but I wanted to show you the other 2 possibilities you can use, and possibility number 2 is actually creating binaural beats. Now, binaural beats are quite close to my heart, as they used to be in the former version of Audition. Actually, it was known as Cool Edit Pro back in the day, before Adobe purchased Cool Edit Pro and Centrillium, and I think the Adobe lawyers got rather hot under the collar when they were thinking about binaural beats, the ability to warp and change minds. This sounds like a legal minefield. Maybe Adobe should leave that alone. But it doesn't mean that you can't still create binaural beats like you could with the actual tool that was in Cool Edit. You just have to know what to do. So This is where you generate two tones of slightly different frequencies, one for each ear, okay? The process then simulates the sound of the binaural beat without needing any specialist recording equipment or anything like that. So I'll show you just very briefly how you can create a binaural beat. And for this, I'm going to go to File, New, and I'm going to look for an audio file here. I'll call this binaural, like so. And we can start again with the tone ability here. And this time, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the edit menu, and I am going to actually convert the sample type from mono to be a stereo file. So you see I've got two channels here, and this is where I can create a slightly different tone. So in order to do that, I'm going to actually mute out the right channel by clicking over here. So the right channel will be muted out, and we'll focus just on the left channel over here. Okay, so we can work on different channels at the same time. So to start with, I'm going to go to Effects, Generate Tones, and I'm going to generate a tone of, say, 200 hertz. This will be a lot lower than the other tones we had. There you go. That's a very low tone. Click OK, create that. Now you'll see that's only on the right channel here. Then I can switch off the right channel and switch on the left channel and go back to Effects, Generate Tones. And then in this case, instead of 200 hertz, I'm going to make that slight difference on the other side that the ear is perceiving, a 5 hertz difference, which is within the theater brainwave range, by the way. Click OK, and now you'll see I've got 205 hertz on the left and 200 hertz on the right. Let's play it back. Now we've panned the tones, and we can listen to how this binaural beat sounds. Okay, and now if you're listening to or watching this video in stereo, and I'd highly recommend it at this stage, you will notice there's a sound. It's almost like a universal kind of psychedelic sound that's going right into the center of your brain and your DNA, and potentially making some changes to you, either mentally or physically, or even as far as your DNA, as Tim Cook referred to. So with both tones simultaneously different in both ears, you get a really nice binaural sound. And of course, I've explored that in other videos on my channel. I highly recommend you go and check out. And method number 3 is an isochronic tone. Let's talk about isochronic tones, because that sounds awfully technical, but it just involves generating a tone that turns on and off at a specific interval, essentially creating a pulse. You might have heard this in many popular music songs. So what we'll do is, again, we'll do this in Adobe Audition, and we'll go through it step by step so you can get an understanding of how an isochronic tone would be created. Now, for this final isochronic example, we're going to go into Effects, Generate, and we're going to go to Tones again, but this time we're going to make some changes. We changed the shape of the waveform from sine, which is what it was previously, to square. This allows us to perfectly modulate the sound we create and get the ideal frequency and modulation rate. Okay, so generating a continuous tone at your desired frequency, I've put in 432 as a sacred frequency, and creating an interval pulse will also work with you and make apparent changes to your mind and your body. So now we can select the modulation rate. Now I've put in here 10 hertz. This is for the alpha brainwave simulation. And then you can also adjust the depth. But as it sounds already, let's play. Okay, you can hear a 432 hertz square tone there, and it's modulating at 10 hertz. But the more we increase the modulation depth, the more we get a pulse, and so we get what is called an isochronic tone. Let's play this example. And you hear it gets a little more wobbly, and then up at 100 hertz of modulation depth, you'll get a really wobbly tone that is pulsing in and out, and the pure definition of what is isochronic. So there you go. Try putting that in your headphones for 10 minutes and see what happens. So did you feel anything during this video? Did it change your spiritual state? Let me know in the comments down below. Remember that the ideas and experiences in this video are only for educational and personal exploration purposes only. You should always consult with professionals when it comes to matters of your health and your mental well-being. But hopefully this gives you the tools to maybe create something that may work for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and also share this video with friends if you think they may benefit with it, especially loved ones who could go into an audio editor or use a synth to create a sacred frequency and harness the power of audio to transform your life. Together, we can uncover the mysteries of the universe to have a great impact on our lives. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.